Alright, let's see if this is working. Looks like it's working. I can't tell yet, though. Let me make absolutely sure over here. Yeah, okay. Should be fine. Alright, so the audio in the background is my inconsiderate housemate. You can read about that in the description and in the threads therein. So, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with that anymore because, like, if I'm gonna be here anyway, it's not like there's much to do. And it seems like I'm stuck here forever. Constantly broke. So, I'm going to, not sugarcoat that. But with that being said, uh, yeah, live again for one of my community engagement streams. I'm going to post this to Tweltwer, and then I'm going to share it on Facebook. And then once I get some concurrent viewers, we can get started. Tail. Oh, and y'all can tell me how I look in this tail. So it says I have 0 concurrent viewers, but the average view duration is 1 minute and 37 seconds, so that's fucking weird. Let me know if you're watching and YouTube is lying to me. Like my inconsiderate housemate regularly does. Alright. It is posted to Tweltwer. Now to share it in my surveyor. Live. Here. Alright. Create post. Yeah, don't you love the fact that I've got this background noise? He's in the kitchen right now, cooking. He doesn't need that on. He's not even listening. Probably can't even hear it over the hiss of what he's cooking. But he's disrespectful and inconsiderate, and he doesn't care as long as he can control shit. Alright. Almost done. There we go. Now, I can get to the actual stream. Yeah, it says the average view duration is 3 minutes, which, would mean that there's at least one person, but I kind of doubt that, because it says 0 likes and 0 concurrent viewers. So. Oh, there we got one. Lou. Feel free to read the description if you want to be sad or upset. Because the reason there's background noise is because of a massively inconsiderate, controlling, sort of sociopathic housemate. So, that's there. Now time to do what the stream is here for and actually read comments. Because it has been a semi-eventful week. Also, I'm going to manually send this to somebody who hasn't been getting notifications of my streams. Because that person has been significantly financially helpful. And also, like, personally encouraging and sharing my content and shit. And so it's weird to me that, like, YouTube won't give her a notification. But I guess it's what I should expect. Facebook is the first and only platform to ever even offer to pay me. So I'm not surprised in the slightest. And I don't even know if Facebook is going to yet. They said they have, but, you know, it's been a day and I haven't seen it in my account, so I don't fucking know. Let me find this person. Just got notification troll, the purpose says. Hello. You know, I wonder if we're mutuals on this account. It'd be weird if we weren't. Because I'm gonna send this, but like... Yeah, okay, so... Alright, here we go. Live right now. Alright, now that I have done my due diligence, the one for BPS was late by about 5 minutes earlier too. I don't know what BPS is, but okay. Yeah, YouTube sucks in a few ways, so I'm gonna pull up the fucking comments at this point. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, he's okay, but like it's way too obvious that he's like really focused on the left when it's literally like right-wing shit that causes this. Like people don't, hey, how are you doing? People do not appreciate, I think, the amount of lies that people can tell about the current order. Like, if you can just say that it's communism, then you don't need to prove that, you know, your version of capitalism is the best. You just need to be not communist. And fortunately, for these people, it's not communism, and it hasn't been communism. And the, you know, the statist social order has been state capitalism, as Rothbard said. You know, I have less disagreements with the Mises Caucus than I do quite a few other libertarian circles, but I gotta say, that Conceptual James tweet, nah. Like, I wonder if they would take an image where, you know, I quoted Murray Rothbard in saying that we need to be more specific with our wording and say that if we have anarcho-capitalism, it's because it's a distinction from non-anarcho-capitalism, you know, state capitalism, whereby the resources have been allocated by like conquest and plunder and shit. Because, you know, that's true. It's just fucking true. And if you can't even criticize an economic system, if you can't even criticize capitalism for a second by calling it state capitalism, then not only are you ignorant of history and like a wide variety of economic truths, but also you have an idol and a religious system, not an economic one. Like, if you want to say that you can have stateless capitalism, go for it. You know, it'd be interesting to see that compete in anarchist, you know, paradigm. But we don't have that yet, and we haven't, and so that means that every single thing that was the result of capitalism, allegedly, was the result of state capitalism. And anarcho-capitalism would be a nice result later, maybe. But yeah, Rescind, hello. She has been a, you know, many-time financial supporter and also social supporter. She does the thing that a lot of people don't, which is actually put her money where her mouth is and spread my content and tag people in it to try and get the conversation going. Because, you know, I don't put out the best fucking content, but I put out some pretty good information that's later proven to be true. It's one of the reasons I don't like Jimmy Dore. Like, I like most of what he does, to be clear. But when he says that he was on board with... Oh, where did it freeze? Let me know. I'll repeat my pablum here. It's always great to have a bad connection and know that part of the reason for it is inconsiderate housemates. You know, like being broke isn't bad enough. It's the way to get out of being broke, being obstructed. Stateless capitalism. If you think you can have stateless capitalism, if you want to see stateless capitalism, by all means try it. It'd be interesting to see it compete. Um, you know, but you gotta acknowledge that it's a version of capitalism, not the only version, and that the previous version has been statist capitalism, state capitalism, where governments have gone into territories that were usually already occupied, killed or kicked out most of the people there, and then when they got done with that, uh, they distributed the resources. Like, you know, Republicans love to say, "Oh, we don't like redistribution of wealth," but then when it comes right the fuck down to it, um, just gonna say, um, they don't, because they're totally fine with the founders. They're totally fine with original slavery, because you know it hadn't been made illegal yet, and the government is my moral compass. And then after all of that, they say that, like, you know, um, that it's still somehow, you know, the free market or whatever. That it's not, you know, a statist system because I attached the word capitalism to it. Yeah, it's not redistribution of wealth when Andrew Jackson reneged on his contracts with the people in the area, the natives there, that had agreed that, hey, yeah, as long as you don't fuck us over, we're chill. And then what do you know? Jackson fucked him over and, you know, pushed them all out and killed those who wouldn't, and, you know, employed local tribes to fucking do the same because if you can't beat them, join them kind of territory. The founders weren't against slavery. The way to be against slavery is to not have them. That's how you be against slavery. Otherwise, you're not against slavery. Um, if I'm against rape, but I constantly rape people, I'm not against rape. That's fucking. It's never true. Now some of them were against slavery actually, like Thomas Paine, the author of, you know, the pamphlets and brochures that actually fueled the intellectual and like physical fervor behind the revolution. Thomas Paine is like an exception to the rule because one of the reasons they didn't like him is because he was ethically consistent and an abolitionist, and they weren't. Thomas Jefferson was not. George Washington was not. Then there'd have been no U.S. No, the U.S. was just another slave farm. If you think otherwise, I advise you to look into the Whiskey Rebellion, because the U.S. started off that way. The U.S. was a tax farm to begin with, and then they, you know, put all this flowery like talk on the founding, acting like it was some sort of like libertarian paradise, when in reality they were stealing land and resources from people in order to distribute it to, you know, the white landowners they liked, and they were slave owners, and you know, all of that stuff. And you know, only a few of them actually opposed it enough to not have slaves, which is what you have to do if you want to be anti-slavery. You can't be anti-slavery and own slaves. It doesn't work. So may as no, because here's the thing. Thomas Paine understood this in a very visceral sense. I wrote an article about it called Thomas Paine, Universal Rebel. In that article, I went over the fact that basically, the idea of the revolution was compromised from the start, with Dutch gold, French gold, you know, some Rothschild money thrown in there for flavor. It was always compromised from the start. And when you compromise from the start, you're going to end up with a compromised system. They could have done better. Thomas Paine like helped build fervor for the, you know, French Revolution as well, and there's a lot more ways to have a struggle than to form a government afterwards, or to become reliant on another government's gold in order to have your revolution. It was always wrong. Every single step of the U.S. process was wrong. And that's why even when Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery, he didn't actually do it. The 13th Amendment put people in Jim Crow laws and prisons and shit like that so that they could be slaves there because they were criminals. Like, that's the way things are. Yes, this is well-man territory, though. I don't know what you mean by that. But Minty says, holy crap, LOLs, I made it to a Jeremiah stream. Lou, I am actually going to read a comment now. Because I haven't been doing that. I've just been responding to chat so far. Which is fine, you know. Because, like, the thing is, this chat goes on as long as people are talking, basically. You know, if people want me to continue talking, they, you know, can give me ways to do that. So, that's the general thing there. Just checking some emails real quick. So, the first comment, it looks like, is from... we got Ian. So glad to see this, that not the last stream. Yeah, I mean, I am too, but it's also near a week away from the end of the month, and I'm in that territory again of trying to find either work or, you know, something in order to get rent and expenses. And maybe not sit in a kitchen chair like I am right now, because I would have the money to replace the part to my chair and not get orthopedic issues. But you know, that's not your fault. That's the fault of the terrible chair manufacturer. That's the result of outsourcing. That's the result of excessive regulations and pricing poor people out of the chair market and state capitalism in general. You know, that. So thumb and a heart. Rescind says, why TF didn't I get notifications for you? My bell is dinged. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube just suppresses shit like this. Twitter already admitted to lying me out of my account for 1.5 years, despite me giving them basically 12 years of free content. And then, you know, more afterwards, but shh, don't tell Jack. Oh wait, shit, he's not in control anymore. We've got to wait for the next guy. Anyway. Well, man, is a comic meme about communism. Worker is walking past wanting better... No, it's not the same thing. It's me saying that this is state capitalism and it's bad. And you saying that they had to participate. You're well, man, if anything. And that's what you'll get from me, you know? You'll get genuine responses. Because I'm a human being, goddammit. My life has value. Anyway. Ian says on the Twitter video, I've dealt with it personally, and God, I hate your quiet voice. It normally leads to shouting afterwards. Edit, not like actual hate, is just a precursor. Yeah, I'm not really a quiet person. I'm normally pretty loud and specific with what I want. If I get quiet, it's probably because something's coming. You know that from experience. He says, I know you hate Parler, but I really enjoyed it, although not for the right reasons. I joined very early on and got more attention on my drawings and paintings than I ever had on any social platform. Unless you go Jeremiah Johnson, We Live in Society. That's from Troll with a Purpose in the chat. No. No. That's not the way it is, because agorism, for instance, which is a thing I constantly push, and a site I made a shit ton of content for, you know, agorism is all about working within your present system and not giving up on your freedom because the present system wants to muscle you out. That's the way you get forward. Or syndicalism, which is a leftist way to do it, where you gradually unionize to push for the society you want. Or anything like that. Like, there are so many fucking ways. And Did the founders go Jeremiah Johnson? No, they didn't. So, in the absolute best case scenario for your arguments for the founders, they disagree with you. You should probably get consistent between those. Thumb and a heart. See, the thing about Parler is that it was always garbage, though. And I recognize that you got more, interaction, but that was probably because you were an early adopter on an early platform. But, like, you won't see the same thing there now, probably. I mean, I'd be interested. You could DM me your results or whatever, but they went agorist. Troll with a Purpose says, no, they didn't. Slavery is anti-agorism, and you can't be a slave owner or benefit from slave ownership and be an agorist. You should read Samuel Edward Konkin III's work instead of misusing it like this. And that's just like a tip of the iceberg kind of thing of how unagorist the founders were. Twitter, AP, and Time are misinforming you about misinformation. Vlog 100. By the way, yay, 100 vlogs. If you don't, this is Ian again. If you don't vote for Hillary, you aren't a woman. Basically, algorithm. I'm here to check the views. Who else is time traveling legal? Haters are. Okay, so you were upping the content. That's interesting. I wonder if that actually did anything. Here, let me check and see if this got... Oh, I think it just scrolled. If this got me any more views than normal. Analytics. Nah, I don't think that helped much. I think a lot of people would need to do that all at once in order to make that happen. But nice try, though. Yet society was slavery. Society still is. It still is. That's what taxation is. That's what inflation is. That's what Jim Crow and all of the laws that led up to the prison industrial complex is. That's what the child labor that was used to make the devices we use is. It's all slavery. Slavery never stopped. In fact, it might have gotten worse. That's why when Biden destabilizes regions, he creates slave markets in places like Libya, and why he gives places back to the U.S. supported government like the Taliban. This has always been like this, and it hasn't stopped. So, let me get back to the comments here. Thumb and a heart there. And another algorithm comment. I don't think either of those worked, but I'll thumb and a heart them in case that helps them work, I guess. Not the last. On Vlogstream 15, Kevin Bergman says based hedgehog is based. Well, I hope you think so after this, if you watch this one too. Mr. Knight says, there are Mormons in Idaho? Yeah, there's a ton of them. Ian says second largest Mormon population in America, and Vampiric Agorist says, yes, quite a few of them from what I hear. Yeah, that was on a video where I was talking to, I think, an actual Mormon from Idaho. So, I mean, that should tell you everything. Rescind on a politician knocked on my door today. You remember Kelly Thomas? I'm so glad. I live near Fullerton, and this story hit me hard. Thomas was like 120 pounds dripping wet. Clearly crazy. And those cops tortured him. The county and my city are adding social workers and hopefully nurses to help with the mentally ill and neurodivergent, etc. What happened to Kelly Thomas and the rest of the victims is appalling. Remember the homeless guy camping outside? I think I mentioned him. That was the James Boyd, if I remember correctly. And they just went up there and fucking speep. Like, let's shoot him, throw a flashbang up there, and then send an agitated dog to rip at his flesh until he dies. That's what the cops thought. And then they did it because they're pieces of shit. I think that's the same guy we're thinking of. Probably. Surrounded by snipers and cops with rifles, he begged for his life, but nope. Yeah, you can beg for your life with a cop. A politician knocked on my door. Two comments from Ian. Trad cons, we only need to fight socially. Lib Dems, we need to fight socially and economically. Maybe. I mean, trad cons are pretty hypocritical and not very consistent, because they will support organizations like Turning Point, and then fucking like talk about economics in chats. Uh, you know, from the perspective of somebody who like has talked to some women who've talked to these people, like the women in trad circles especially, they're all about like, oh yeah, he's got money, he's got the resources I want. That's trad. No, no, and also trad isn't very good anyway, because like it's not specifying the tradition. Like which tradition, you know? Uh the Ugandan tradition, the you know, ancient Hun tradition. Which tradition are we talking? Oh, right, very specific American tradition. So it doesn't make sense to me to use a phrase that's so vague and non-specific, and also that is unnecessarily narrow in the bulk of its application, to describe something that's supposed to help everybody. Like, we need, if a dictionary could be a novel about the experiences of a Twilight fan writing fan fiction, and I said, hand me the dictionary, I probably wouldn't be talking about that one. You know, words should have very specific meanings, and trad doesn't mean anything in my experience. So that's my response to that. But like the trad people, there there's this comic that, like, it has this guy in a room. Honestly, it's kind of better than mine right now though. I need to fix that. Um but he's like, oh, I need a trad wife who's willing to do X, Y, and Z for me. And then it's got this other panel where the perfect wife for him is like, I need a schizo asocial uh, internet poster, and like they're perfect for each other. It's not real. It doesn't happen normally, you know. And when it does, you're not gonna find trad on the internet, you know. And trad is like, I have my cottage out in there, and here's my way to get my cottage what it needs. So let me go into town for a bit, and oh god, she's hot. I want to see what her cottage looks like, and then not have sex until marriage, and then raise a great family off the grid. Let's ditch the internet. It's not let's meet on Twitter, say how trad we are, and then reject most things that are actually traditionalist. Racine says words should have a very specific meaning. Yes, this. Yeah, because, like, I don't like it when a thing coalesces around that, right? Because it's not real. There's no actual trad. Trad isn't a thing. It's just a thing people like to call themselves, like Chad. And how many people do you know that called themselves trad who got later, or Chad, who got later proven to be anything but? You know? Oh, I'm so alpha that I follow every male who calls himself alpha until I eventually reach my peak, fucking, oh, I'm so not beta. I don't eat soy, but I've never read any research on it, and I don't actually understand what phytoestrogens do. I'm gonna buy into anything somebody with an edgy intro on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok says. I'm so Chad. I'm not a follower. I'm not beta like those soy cucks. It's fucking funny to me. And meanwhile, I'm over here, and sometimes I have soy products, and I've got, look at this. Look at this. Yeah. I got the traps. I got the fucking neck. I got the pecs growing here. I'm getting the abs pretty strongly, you know. I got the pump because I work out every fucking day, no breaks. And somehow I don't have to look like they want me to and be like they want me to in order to make myself more of a Chad than most of them, more alpha than most of them. Because they're not fucking alphas. We're not wolves. We're humans who do what works and can think stronger than dogs. Holy shit. Please you know, if I ever become as stupid as, you know, a dog, please, please put me out of my misery. Don't. Like, I can get hanging with him. Diogenes made it work. But let's be clear here. We aren't dogs. We're not wolves. We don't do alpha. You know, and that alpha study also was done very, very briefly by somebody who later said, hey, I was kind of full of shit and I really only observed one pack. Anyway, ignoring all context makes any discussion impossibly long, but it's not all context. It's asking what the context is, and they don't have an answer. That's what trad conversations are, because I can ask them what they mean by trad, and they won't be able to tell me a cohesive thing that meshes between, like, the groups that are allegedly trad. It's not cohesive because there is no actual tradition being observed. It's cherry picking from certain traditions and liking cottagecore on Tumblr. That's it. We're now TikTok. Troll with a purpose. Fully fermented soy doesn't have the estrogens and is better tolerated by those who have problems with... Yeah, well, okay. But that doesn't mean that everybody is going to grow moobs because they had silk. It's just not true. Like, there's so much myth around this. And it's certainly not because of the estrogens, because, again, they're phytoestrogens, and you have to take an absolute boatload to get any sort of chick qualities. You know? And I've studied hormones because I overproduce basically all of them, including testosterone. You can probably tell from the fact that my beard is crawling slowly up toward my eyeballs, especially when I turn on the light. So, like, you can see this. It's sort of like, you know, gradually crawling. I don't have problems in that regard, and I eat like I eat, you know? You can sort of see it. Oh, I guess that overexposed it. But yeah, you can see some of the blondes there. Yeah. Minty says, aren't phytoestrogens the ones in plants? Yeah, that's the thing. They're the ones in plants because they're for fucking plants. They're phytoestrogens. And people who don't understand that see the word estrogen and they think it's the same as taking hormone pills. It's fucking not. Rasin says, show off. I envy your hormones. Mine are but a memory. Yeah, I could offload some chick hormones onto you. Like, I have more of everything than I need, basically. Hypermetabolism, hyperhormonal. It's why it's so easy for me to be angry about things, and why I'm bipolar, probably, because my genes in nature just sort of said, let's add that too. But yeah, fucking... Troll the Purpose says, yeah, those can be a problem for some. What's most harmful are the enzyme inhibitors and the like. I mean, maybe. It depends on which ones you're talking about, and what enzymes are being discussed. Like, in what way do the enzyme inhibitors, and by the way, the in quotes, because you didn't say which inhibitors these are, like, what chemicals are we talking about here, and in what way do they actually affect the enzymes? Because if you've got problems with enzymes and soy, then you could just take some Beano and its enzymes in a pill, and you could get your cheap protein anyway. You know? What works, works. And, you know, one of the funny things is that phytoestrogens exist in fucking every plant, at least a little bit. And so when people bring that up, it's basically just an excuse to not eat phytoestrogens. But if it was so fucking bad, and if it gave you all these female traits, then why, oh why, would it be totally fine for all these animals they eat to eat these plants? The answer is that it's not. It's just fine. It's probably just fine. You know? Oh, they have multiple stomachs. Yeah. So process them harder if you're concerned. You know? You don't need to be a ruminant to eat plants. We're omnivores. We got molars for a reason. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat every fucking day. But let me be super clear here. Like, phytoestrogens are fine. Sorry to break it to some of you. but they're fine, you know, and so are the other chemicals in them. I've never seen any credible studies that actually proved that there's a significant problem from eating soy products. At least not soy products from a very specific distributor or manufacturer or something. And then once that controversy is over, it's fine. Minty says, I feel people who proclaim themselves alpha are super. Yeah, they're super insecure. You know, and that's why they've got to have like all their super fucking edgy marketing on the fitness stuff, on the fucking alertness stuff, on the vitamin pills. Like, holy shit. Why do you need your vitamin pills to have like a fist on it or broken shit on it? You're not doing jack shit, and they're overpriced. You don't need them to be those specific formulations. Your body can convert what it needs to convert. Eat more plants. You know? Oh no, phytoestrogens. I'll just take pills to supplant the fact that I don't live normally like a human should. That's what phytoestrogens fear is. You know? Um Pat says and hello by the way. Very true. It's in broccoli, oranges, blueberries. Yeah, everything. Like, I want to live a colorless, flavorless life with no seasoning and no fucking science because I can't fucking fathom looking up an actual scientific study and finding out that, hey, maybe some people in my circles need some criticism. No, I'm going to keep idolizing everyone in those circles and never accepting any criticism for any of my ideas. It's fucking toxic gym bro culture all wrapped up. It's like the Republican version of Planet Fitness. Anyway, that was a really long rant. I hope you got something out of it, Ian. And he also says, "Wish I knew who that guy was and that I was in his district. Dude sounds like he may be legit. Maybe. I still, I'm a pessimist about politicians in general. I still don't like the guy because he came around the house. I just think that it was an interesting conversation. And if he is legit, maybe I helped the poor people around here because, like, ultimately, they're the ones most affected by the policies uh, with which I discussed with him, right? Like, they're poor people over policed. Poor people can't get access to health care. Poor people join gangs or join the criminal underbelly in order to stop being poor when the state treats poor people poorly and helps the mega corporations who also treat poor people poorly. How do I know this? Because I've been poor basically my whole fucking life. And I've had a lot of poor friends, and instead of all these politicians funded and raised in bankster families, or at least, bankster adjacent, which I can't verify that he is, but he's been in politics for a bit, so probably at least a little. Instead of being that, I'm understanding of the poor and their plight because I'm a poor and I'm in a plight. So, and I'm sure you know that. I'm preaching to the choir here, but at the same time, you know, if he's real, we'll see him adopt some of the stuff we talked about that he was agreeing to. That's the litmus test is whether or not they actually, want to do anything, can do anything, and then do anything. And if they can't, whether or not they're willing to come out of politics with a memoir about how the state doesn't care about us so that I can quote it as proof that I was right. I'm not a cynical asshole. Nah. Disavowed, I mean, you unfriended me for calling you out for something or other. I'm not gonna bring it up right now, though, because, hello anyway? Either way, there are still 16 more minutes in the hour. So we're in chat mode because basically I'm out of comments to read. So this will be on Odyssey. If y'all want to support my content, by following me there. That's a free way to do it. Plenty of free ways in my fucking description here. And plenty of less free ways. So if you decide you want this thing to continue, you know, be more like Rescind, maybe. So that's the general idea, though. Like, this is what this stream is for those of you who are new. And for those of you who have been, like, following my Twitter only because you were following a banned account. Hey, I'm worse than ever now. But I'm also better researched. And the reason I don't like people like Jimmy Dore is because, and you know, I like him for a lot of other reasons. I'm not saying he's on the whole bad, or even mostly bad. But he'll say things like, he started to research, you know, adverse side effects after, in the beginning, he immediately sided with the vaxxers because he was still basically TYT brained to a certain extent. And he suddenly found out that when you question these things, the establishment doesn't like you very much. So, you know. Minty says, not political, but how are you feeling about Sonic Frontiers? 100% hype. The fans cried so hard, not all of them, but enough of them, cried so fucking hard about so many issues, and then when Sonic was finally addressing those issues, they were like, let's complain about aesthetics, and complain about the fact that they hired that man. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't. They hired a fucking huge team to make a beautiful game with different shit that addresses your concerns and makes it fucking epic. And instead of, you know, accepting that work and, you know, encouraging that work, a lot of Sonic fans immediately jumped down their throat like, oh no, how dare you do something different after I said that you were stagnating and bad. Fuck all of you. Not you, Minty, just to be clear. Just saying, it's frustrating. You know, oh, you don't earn your speed anymore. You don't earn your speed, you're just running straight. You just have to push forward because everything's on tracks. Oh no, don't make it open world. Don't make him start slow and then gradually speed up. Don't make a skilled tree or an interesting combat system. Don't do anything that we've been asking you to do. Just keep on being shit that we can complain about. Yeah, that's my take. What do you think of them canceling Andrew Tate from Disavowed? I don't care. He wasn't anarchist. He's not anarchist, and he's only canceled from Facebook and Instagram so far, or whatever. And ultimately, people who want to talk shit about women and say edgy shit can find platforms to do that. It's almost like the alternate platforms are pressure release mechanisms to make sure that people who are unfairly suspended don't revolt against things too radically. And it's almost like the main platforms like Twitter, Facebook, etc. will only ban somebody after this person generates them a shit ton of traffic and revenue, because then they still get what they wanted and they get to look like the good guy. I don't like the companies that did it, and I don't like the fucking piece of shit. His content sucks asshole, and he's the kind of person who builds up the kinds of people who become Elliot Rodger. That's my take. I don't like him. I don't like the people who deplatformed him. This is a cesspit and we're all stank. Especially me. I need a fucking shower. Concurrent viewers 5 on this shit. Anybody else got something they want me to address? I already addressed all the chat comments for those of you coming here for that. Because I will definitely be in chat for like 11 more minutes. What would we do without Supreme Channel? A lot better. Because then people who tried to have proper diction, and tried to dress smartly and etc., wouldn't constantly be compared to people like him and milady bronies. We need to raise the standards, otherwise people like that will only ever be able to get to the base standard and stay there and make anybody with standards look like trash. And, murderers. Now, just to be clear, like, we need to treat people better, too. That's the baseline. Andrew Tate is one of the reasons people aren't treated better. He treats people like shit. Minty says, what are your solutions to decreasing the number of mass hooterings? Treat people better. Have better social structures. Don't fuck until you're ready, and like ideally married or something proximal to it, culturally speaking, because kids out of wedlock and unwanted kids with bad parenting or no parenting, or parenting by devices, or parenting by the state, are the fucking easiest targets here. Like, easiest people to sort of push in that direction. Especially since those people, because of the way society is structured, are otherized and constantly pushed around. Trust me, I was basically one of them in certain respects. Anybody who's different gets otherized and treated like trash. And then suddenly these people are exposed to an online culture of anonymity where they can say what they want and be who they want. And they're like, yeah, let me do that. And then they find an anonymity circle, and that anonymity circle is full of a bunch of people who got radicalized by this system. And it's a cycle. A cycle that would be greatly reduced, not by gun control. God, no. But by people control. And self-control specifically is what I mean. Because people need to control themselves well enough that we create a better generation of people that aren't like this, and definitely we need to get rid of the fucking state who creates violence machines, groupthink factories, and obedience generators. Like, oh yeah, we're not doing the fun thing until this person apologizes or conforms, or because this person didn't conform, we're not doing the fun thing. Everybody treat them like shit. Oh, we didn't get good enough grades on average. Everybody treat everybody who didn't do that like shit. That's how schools operate. It's just, you didn't conform, you didn't do what we want, you didn't have enough spirit for the system forcing you into a box or a meat grinder. Yeah, ostracism. Treat them like shit. And then those people pop out into society, if they get out of there in one piece, or not, that kind of person. And then they become either a corporate cog or somebody disenfranchised and resentful of the machine. And maybe that kind of person is still going to be that kind of person, right? Maybe we need a better society that's not so hyper corporate, that doesn't have the state and corporations replacing parents. And you could really just say the state capitalist mechanism. Parents that are ethical and reasonable and worth a damn. Parents that are trying to, raise and educate their own kids. So that we don't have an overrun foster and, system that these kids are then often, like, way too often trafficked. All of this shit, combined with a system that basically just says, yeah, we're unethical, fucking deal with it and be a part of it, or we're gonna cast you out. All of that needs to go. All of that and more. Including, oh yeah, maybe the real guns that shouldn't be in school are military recruiters, or the police telling kids, hey, join our hyper-escalatory force of fucking jackboots and we'll accept you. You can be that. And then these kids, some of them just don't want to fill those boots, so they fill another pair of boots that they got from a surplus store and finish the job. There's a shit ton of problems that won't be addressed until we actually start treating people more like people. Addressing their mental health more seriously, being closer to them, having more decentralized systems, cooperating with our neighbors so that poverty reduces instead of complying to the state which created the poverty to begin with. Like, there's so fucking much. I could keep going for hours. Troll with a Purpose says, yeah, and what confounds soy issues is many that are having, I think you meant some. You gotta say not soy enough that, soy issues is that having that as, okay, so this was a thing. Having that as a large part of their diet, are also going low cholesterol. Low cholesterol will mess with hormones. Yeah, but also, like, sometimes you need that, and it's better if they do that than get on statins sometimes. So, Rescind says no comment about trans and kids. See, sometimes, like, I think that's a much more complex issue than a lot of people give it credit for. And I'm not willing to take an extreme position except saying that a significant amount of the culture needs to change, and that if parents were closer to their kids and weren't relying on the state, then the state wouldn't be able to do that. Like, if that's what they're doing, indeed. Like, I mean, to be very specific, you pulled your kid out of school, right? You got them out, you let them have that freedom, and they turned into a better person for it, right? Most parents aren't willing to do that or even financially able to do that because this culture is a culture that encourages, you know, fucking around. I was trying to think of the word for it, but I'm not gonna do that. Fucking around, and a bunch of other culturally damaging things that are going to result in a bad culture, which creates kids susceptible to that, and then adding them to the state machine means the state can tell them to do anything they want. If that's one of the things they're telling them actively, then yeah, that's kind of, it can be bad. But it can be all right because some people grow up in households where they're not accepted at all for who they are. And maybe if parents were treating their kids more like people, a lot of this could start to fade. But a lot of parents just want their kids to be sort of a mirror projection of themselves, and they don't care about their kids' freedom. They're not going to let their kid decide anything for themselves, much less this kind of thing, especially from a sort of, fake Christian perspective of, I'm going to control people and God can't handle this on his own. So, the internet is pushing it. I know homeschooling parents with kids who have jumped on. Yeah, okay, but at the same time, like, ultimately, there are some people who are. I mean, I think that if anything, this train wouldn't be chugging so well, if it is indeed a train. Like, Bill Maher may have a point with his chart. Uh, if it is indeed a train, it might be chugging along on the steam power of the state. So, Racine says, I worry about think of the children phenomenon. Yeah. Because, like, that's what a lot of this stuff is. It's a way for Republicans to sort of overshadow a significant amount of their issues because they can just point and say, hey, that man is swimming. Well, maybe. Does that mean that your kid is going to be treated better or worse? Does that mean you're going to treat your kid better or worse, or do better or worse? Not you specifically, just random insert, like, parent here. Because people are so often much more concerned with other people than them. Like, I think if I remember, I might not be remembering this correctly. If I'm not, let me know, Rescind. But I think you're a Christian, if I remember correctly. So to be incredibly specific, if you are, a verse to remember is Matt 7:4. Because Matthew 7:4 was talking all about how to avoid being a hypocrite. Not saying you are one. I'm saying that this is applying to the kinds of Republicans I'm talking about, who just, or conservatives or Nazis, who just, oh, we don't have any issues now because I saw an MMA event I didn't like. Matt74 would be the one where it goes, you remove the beam from your own eye before examining, so that you can see clearly to examine the mote in your brother's. That sort of thing. Well, so there, but the thing is, yeah, so the thing is, that's the thing it's saying. It's saying, like, everybody should work on themselves first. And so many Christians aren't willing to do that. They're not taking up their cross. They're not willing to say that, like, hey, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. They're not willing to say that, because then that implies they sinned. It implies that they might be sinning right now. Being imperfect and being okay with, like, accepting that is the root of a significant amount of Christian doctrine that goes ignored by a significant amount of alleged Christians, especially politically. That's how you get Joel Osteen. That's how you get Ken Ham. That's how you get that fucking piece of shit waving his fingers with oil at the fucking camera. I can't remember his name right now, but he also got a private jet because he said he couldn't fly commercial with those demons. It's like flying in a tube full of demons. That's what you get, right? So, like, those people would really rather you point at trans people and say that they're the real problem. But there's a lot of problems they won't address in their own camp first, and that's an issue I have with them. Kenneth Copeland, yeah, he's a piece of fucking shit. I hate him so much. Maybe I'll do a video on Kenneth Copeland, just, like, how aggressively terrible he is. I'm also about to start opening up, if I can get enough support, I'm about to start opening up a documentary-style channel where I put out really highly edited, high-quality content. And this will be my more, like, informal vlogging channel and shit like that. Because I think if I could really put out some higher-quality content, maybe I could get some Black Pigeon Speaks numbers, or cull a few people away from Vouch and say, it's okay, you don't have to fuck horses or make creepy comments about child porn in order to be successful. Maybe then. Big Ben says, yeah. Racine says, mainstream religion is scary, including mine. Yeah. Don't forget about Pat Robertson. Yeah, there's just so many of them. So fucking many of them. And, like, that's the thing. There's always something somewhere else. It's like when, like, for the other side, they're all on the same side. They're all state capitalists. But, like, it's like my video, I think, exactly yesterday, which got 0 comments, by the way. If there are any next time I talk, I'll definitely, bring this up. But, like, because, like, I go over pretty much all comments, for now anyway. And none have been posted on my Odyssey channel this week. And I've addressed all the ones that have been posted here, like, then. But it could be a video from, like, ass long ago, and if you want me to talk about something, I can probably do that. You might need to remind me about the timestamp, though, because some of those things were really fucking long. Minty says, LMAO saw a clip of Kenneth Copeland during the 2020 election where he laughed like, yeah, ha ha ha, and he got the whole audience to do it. It was cult-ass shit. Racine says the Illuminati card game sums it up really well. Yeah, it has a mega church, like a televangelist card, and it's exactly like the cult card, because it's a cult. It's all cults, but they're all on the same side. But it's like the video I put out yesterday where I talked about how Jared Kushner is the Democrats' way of currently pointing at Jared Kushner and saying, hey, 2 billion Saudi Arabia, Jared Kushner, Trump, Republicans, GOP, corruption. But definitely don't bring up anything we do ever, and don't bring up all the people that we've fucked over in this year. We're fine and always perfect. Jared Kushner, he's terrible. Yeah, and you're fucked up too, Democrats. How about that? Anyway. Like, there's so much problem. Like, Okay, so let me just go over this temporarily. You know, like Alphabet, Facebook, Twitter, all these major media companies, they get kickbacks from Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. So if any of them ever trend that the sovereign wealth fund is evil, they're not saying it's evil when they give them tens of billions of dollars, only when they can make a little fake ass story and say, they're not real. It's a fucking lie. I hate them so much. Anyway, troll the purpose. Yeah, triangle with an eye. Yeah. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Yeah, like, so Big Ben is here. Says, like, hypocrisy indeed. It's hypocrisy from both sides and from all sides, because it's both sides, but they're really not a side. And then there's hypocrisy everywhere else too. Um, you know, for real. Like, I'm serious about making that meme and making it really high quality for the Mises Caucus. Talking about state capitalism as a quote from Rothbard, to see if they're willing to equally stir the pot that way. We'll see. Who knows? You know, it's free content. But either way, the point is that, like, uh, every side, every faction, every camp, they all have problems, and anybody unwilling to admit that is in a cult. 90% of the world is in a cult. Just a little bit. And I hate it. Especially when I go against the cult and catch a bunch of shit for it. Or I'm deplatformed. Or, nobody gives a shit when, I need something. Like, those links in the description and the description itself, if y'all are interested in reading my fucking daily tribulations, that's there. Because it's a daily problem living here. It's hard being a true individual. Yeah. And that's why people like Rescind are willing to listen to me, are willing to support what I do, are willing to share my content and tag people. She's one of the only people who does that. There are also multiple other people that aren't here today. I'm assuming they're, like, dealing with something. People have jobs and lives. It's not like this is the furthest away from a cult that anything will ever get, because, like, I want people to be healthy individuals who have lives. And what that means is that, hey, you might use your life to have a life and not just watch a YouTuber all the time. But she does what most people won't, and she does all that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of the people who also shares my content and occasionally financially supports it is here now. Earth Nerd, hello. Yeah, the hair is up because it's grease ass, and I didn't want to just have string ass grease ass hair trunkling down and making me look like, fucking Kelly Thomas pre-beating, you know? Um, Big Ben says these various groups and identity political like-minded people hate open-minded thinkers like us. Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, I'm okay with having a normal conversation like this, like, and I'm okay with having streams with basically anybody. Like, if Alex Jones invited me on his stream, I would say yes. If Vaush invited me on his stream, I'd probably say no because he supports CP. But, like, a Marxist, let's say Peter Coffin had me on his stream, I would definitely say yes. Like, there are people of widely varying ideological subsets who I'd be okay talking to, because I think it's interesting to have, like, conversations on a human level instead of all these fucking stupid posturing bullshit. Like, so many people are just typecast themselves. Like, they just say, I'm gonna be this guy. But I'm not any guy. I'm that fucking asshole who's always willing to say that thing that other people don't like, which is why most of my YouTube videos don't break 50 views and most of my tweets don't break 50 anything. You know? Hair up, trim beard, and you could probably get in a lot of places. Yeah, not gonna do that though. Especially the trimming, because part of the point of all of this is that, like, my hair and beard, if some of it falls out into my brush or my afro pick, then that's fine. But I'm not gonna, like, trim it and sort of cut myself into the shape that the masses want. If they want real, authentic shit, they got it here. You know? No pretense at all. Minty says, it would be funny to see you on Vouch's stream. Yeah, yeah. Well, see, because Horse is an interesting subject with him because he's constantly bringing that up. And you wonder if he's just talking about Daldon'ts or if he's talking about the Rel thing, you know? Samson, yeah, I feel like I'm more personally powerful for having not fit in. Yeah. And it's one of the reasons that part of my sort of realization was a sort of startling realization that, holy shit, maybe one of the reasons I wanted to grow my hair out was the subliminal messaging from the Sonic franchise. Because it occurred to me that his spikes are supposed to look like long hair, and the guy who sings for Crush 40 is, like, formerly of a hair metal band, and maybe the whole thing was designed to be, like, radical statements all the way through, from, like, aesthetics to form to actual message. And it was like, oh yeah, this is... So realizing that sort of shit was what sort of, like, pushed me to remember, hey, I used to be pretty fashy and now I'm not. So maybe the Sonic franchise is a significant portion of radicalizing me, and that's one of the reasons I sympathize so much with the devs, because they're constantly dealing with people who want to control them, and I can see why they would rebel. Somehow I actually respect bronies more. You can do whatever you want, man. But I don't think you've read the Sonic comics, or you might not be saying that. It's all about breaking people out of the machine, opposing fascism, generally trying to be a better person, fight for freedom against, like, the tyranny of the moment, no matter what that is. That's what Sonic is. Chance says, I like the idea of long hair, but I like the low maintenance of short hair. Well, then you would be interested to see. I've got, I'm not going to say too much about the card itself, but I always sort of keep pictures around with me of what I used to look like. And let me see if I can find, yeah. So this was me with shorter hair. This is my school ID. Let me see if that shows up clearly. It should. I don't know why it wouldn't. Let me make sure it's showing up on the camera. Whatever. I guess that's gonna have to be good enough. This isn't a very good camera. If you want me to get a better camera, past rent, because that'll always come first. The links are in the description. But he says no more than vouch. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, because I was talking about Sonic at the moment, and you're like, I respect bronies more. I was like, okay. Your choice. I'm not a like police. You can like what you want, you know? Vouch can like his bad dragon a little bit too much. Earth Nerd says, soldiers get out of the military and grow out their hair and beard as a symbol of newfound freedom. Yeah. Yeah, because some of the people who've been in the military grow out the best fucking hair because they're like, hey, I don't have to be cut down to fit in your fucking box anymore. And I don't have to, go AWOL and risk my entire future and family connections and whatever to be freer. Minty says, would you also be willing to go on Haz's stream? The guy who says Nazi Germany with... No, but I would debate him maybe on a moderated stream that wasn't on his channel. Because that sounds like a fucking lol cow and a half. That sounds like the kind of person that I could have some fun with. And yeah, but no, I'm not gonna give him clicks. Alex Jones, like, for all of his faults, has had some really good content and was ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. I don't know who this has is, but it gives me a big feel that probably he's never been ahead of the curve, and he's probably been, curved by too many chicks and takes it out on bad political ideas. If that's what he's saying, that is. Fucking holy shit. Yeah, well, see, but I've done those before, Ben. Part of the thing is that I want to do them, like, moderated with rules and, like, time limits and no interruptions and, like, fucking logical fallacies avoided and called out and shit. Like, debate. Not just a public spat between, like, the fucking stupid equivalent of sorority sisters. Alex Jones was right. Yeah, see, an alarming number of times. Yeah, see, that's the thing you're not... See, but okay, so I'm saying that as an extreme example. If I were to talk to somebody I respect more because of, like, libertarian conclusions, Corbett, really high up there. Fucking the Truthstream media team. Really fucking good content that most people haven't heard of. Fucking... Sadly, he was a double agent in controlled opposition. Of course. Yeah, but, like, maybe not. We're talking Alex Jones there, but, yeah, so, like, but the point is that there are better examples than Alex Jones that lead to a more libertarian/anarchist conclusion. And I respect a shit ton of people that I would, also go on, that I would prefer to go on first, like, and talk to them or have them on my channel or something. Alex Jones equals CIA. Maybe. I mean, I'd like to see some sources. That would be interesting. Elon sucks in every conceivable way. And I'm writing an article right now that will be released at some point, but it's really fucking long. And it might be released as a multi-part series. Just, like, take the segments and the headers and just be like... Just, like, fucking 5 of them. But Elon sucks asshole. And the reason I say that with such fervor is because for some reason so many libertarians and anarchists are okay with a guy who's literally using the government to steal from other manufacturers. And so much else. Like, but let me be, like, this should be the linchpin for ANCAPs. This, right fucking here, is the linchpin for ANCAPs. Regulatory credits. Can we talk about the regulatory credits that are keeping him afloat? What are regulatory credits? For those of you who don't know, regulatory credits are when one business exploits government fucking like penalties, and these regulatory credits are paid for, stolen by the government from one company that doesn't do what they want, and the government says, hey, we'll give this to you because you do what we want. So because he makes electric vehicles, and well, no, he doesn't, but because he runs companies that make those companies that run these allegedly green things can take money through the government from the companies who don't. The government is literally a fence for him, in the thief sense. They're fencing goods. The government is saying, take, give. And Elon is the givey. That's the only reason his businesses haven't gone bankrupt, is because of government assistance and regulatory capture. That's it! But libertarians are supposed to like him? Fucking why? Ooh, he pisses off the woke mob. I don't fucking care, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Ooh, he smoked on Joe Rogan. You're right, he had the time to do that because he's not the ones actually doing the work. Those people had to stay over holidays because his business would go bankrupt because too many rockets crashed and he needed to make shit happen. Holy shit, he sucks. I hate him so much. And Neuralink, let's lace fucking things into your brain so that we can have input-output access. And then make a bunch of creepy comments about you being the pet of AI. That's not a fucking coincidence, is it? Anyway. He's linking this, us all. Yeah, the Internet of People. Yeah. Seems like an interesting figure with yeah, because see, anytime I've ever fucking criticized him on Twitter, I've always had this gagless stupid cunts just like, you can't, don't, stop. Holy shit, it's fucking aggravating, but also massively hilarious. I wonder what he'll do, and what his role is, especially regarding possibly buying. You know, either way though, at least this trial may have been the reason I got my Insanity is Free account back, because they admit they lied about the reasoning after, you know, maybe they had to clean house in order to avoid looking like a dirty house past an audit, maybe. Oh, shit. Didn't Elon once call himself a utopian? Yeah, anarchist? Yeah. No, but he's not, though. Yeah. Fucking no. And also, he worked directly with a guy on the Peter Thiel, who's now on the steering committee for the Bilderberg Group, and partially responsible for the fucking, like, dystopian superstate we're seeing rise, with all the shit he funds, like Facebook too. Like, holy fucking shit, these are your libertarian heroes, guy. Peter Thiel, who's an Atlas Network devotee and a fucking hyper capitalist on a state capitalist bent. Yee! Give me that! Fucking his friend who he kicked out of the company when it was proven that his ideas weren't as good as they needed to be in order to not suck assholes so much that he would need to be removed. He got removed, bought out, and then he used that money to fund what he really wanted, which was repeated business, vehicle failures and shit, and explosions, and fucking using NASA launch pads and facilities because he relies on the government. He's not a libertarian. Holy shit, these people aren't good at all. I hate them so much. Anyway. Fucking Minty says Elon literally wants to plant chips in people's brains, but his stands don't care because he loves anime and memes. Yeah. To be fair, though, I've got a similar sense of humor to him. So if he laugh at dead deer in pool and say, why my horse stopped working or something like that, I forget exactly what it was, I'm probably going to laugh. My Jacksepticeye impression here. You like it? Am I doing it well? Unintelligible enough to be Irish? Anyway. Yeah, I do hate them so much. They suck. And people are totally willing to... If I could get like a third of the money for bricks, for a scam, for buying dirt that he did, I would never have to work again. But I would still do it because I have a conscious ego and a spine. Jesus fucking Christ. But this is the state of libertarianism, is that these people are libertarian heroes. Holy fucking shit. Anyway. Big Ben says, the elite put Elon on Saturday Night Live and used Doge to mock people last year. It's interesting how he's Yeah! He's literally a pump and dumper who fucked the crypto market, and that's also going in my article. And people in libertarian crypto circles say, ooh, but you just need to get on the bottom half of the trend and ride Doge to the moon the next time he moons it. Well, maybe if you would stop crashing that rocket too! I don't have a history of being upset about this. Nah. Rescind says, all the backstories are so shady. Yeah. Ben says, Elon sold his Bitcoin, so I bought more. Yeah. But it's like, I just hate it. I hate the fact that he gets away with it every single fucking time. He scammed people with the fucking Hyperloop. You know? That was supposed to be his super utopian underground tunnel where your car would be put on tracks and then allowed to zoom through a massive tunnel network that was basically a freeway underground, but controlled by a centralized institution. Now, that was already dystopian enough because it's like, yeah, get an R-tube. R-tube is better than the freeway, even though it's just as wide. R-tube is underground, and we'll take you through our tube. Our tube is awesome. But their tube turned out to not be awesome because he was never planning on building something that big and metropolitan fucking like Blade Runner-y. He was always just planning on building proof of concept tunnels. And these tunnels are traffic jammed Tesla, not your car, but Tesla taxi tubes. Because you can't drive fast in them. They're not hyper, they're fucking hypo, you scammer. He scammed people with his Cybertruck, and he actively proved it was a scam by throwing a steel ball at it on stage twice, and it broke both times. He had 2 semis that were supposed to be the future of semis, and self-driving electric vehicles that would be capable of a fuck ton of fucking shit that would replace your fucking, old worn out diesel. You can't have those anymore, but you can have this thing that we promise is coming. We promise is coming. It didn't come. And then the Cybertruck is still on pre-order. And then after all of that happened, it was fucking just more hurry up and wait on his robot, his super personal, like, humanoid robot that just, he put up a dancing person in spandex in front of people and everybody forgot that he was talking about a real boy. His constantly crashing rockets, his Starlink and Neuralink, which are both dystopian as hell because, hey, let's launch universal internet that's good everywhere. That's not going to be used to plant surveillance devices and universalize the surveillance state. No, we're helping poor people. We're helping disadvantaged third world countries. We're so fucking awesome and cosmopolitan. And then Neuralink, which is going to help the disabled. Well, everything that is wireless was once wired. There was never once a thing that started out wireless, as far as I'm aware, or at least didn't rely on something that did for its initial proof of concept. This is the wired version of the wireless thing that the elites have been wanting for a while, to just be able to say, no, you can't do that, and instead of you being able to say, no, go fuck yourself, they go, gzzz, and you're like, okay, I'll do it. A lot easier than having people who can even be hesitant about a thing that goes in their body, right? You can't hesitate. You can't do your own research. Just fucking do what we tell you. And a Neuralink device isn't at all going to make any of that fucking worse, right? Oh, it's laughable. Anyway, looks like we're dwindling on comments. If you want me to discuss something else. And like, okay, so... scams. Elon scams. I still have some. His flamethrower isn't really a flamethrower. It's just a glorified lighter. Because it's not throwing any actual hot, like, sticky liquid. Like, there's no napalm in that. It's fucking fine. You could use that to light a cigar. Which he would light because he totally didn't inhale on Joe Rogan. Totally. Yeah. That way he can not be held to the same performance standards his employees are probably held to. Because he said so. And because I'm almost guaranteeing that they can't have had drugs in their blood on the floor. Who believes that he's consistent about that? I don't. I don't believe anything he says for a fucking second. Utopian anarchist. Woo! Big Ben, I hope everything invests into cryptocurrency. It's going to be the new world reserve currency one day. Nah, the Fed coin will be. Have you read my articles about the Fed coin that they're building? Because the Jimmy Dore didn't talk about that first. You know, other people weren't talking about that first in any comprehensive sense, and they still haven't mentioned the people behind the new one. I was on the ball 2 years ago about how COVID was such like the COVID conspiracy was such a problem, right? And like how this was leading to a technocratic super state. I was on the ball like 2 years ago, and then kept on the ball and proving that I was right about what I was saying and that everything I was saying was coming true for years and years and years. And then people come on like Jimmy Dore and saying like, why is nobody else talking about this? Well, maybe because my content didn't get shared enough. Maybe because the people that are talking about it get suppressed and don't have existing TYT numbers to bolster their initial show. Who knows? Who knows? I like a lot of what he says. I'm not pigeonholing him. I'm just saying that that's annoying. Other people were talking about it, and that's how he could look into it and find out how wrong he was. You know. Why am I the only... You're not. Anyway. What about EMPs? Yeah. Yeah, EMPs are a problem. You can also just build a Faraday room for your servers that you mine with so that you have it afterward. Because, like, everything can be rebuilt with mesh nets. Decentralization is the key to freedom. Centralization is the enemy of freedom. The reason you're worried about EMPs is because of centralized grids that could be decentralized very easily. Not cheaply, but very easily. Ben says they're suppressing the crypto prices till next year when they do maybe. But the point is that, like, have you heard of the Fed? Oh, yeah, so Ben says, what year might that be? It's basically now. They have it, they just haven't fully rolled it out yet. So let me link my article here. And you know, y'all, Rescind already does. Feel free to financially support this if you want to see me be able to invest in cryptos. Because right now, you see this? This is a chair. I need 2 parts for it. I need the lifting mechanism and a gas cylinder. It'll cost me about $60. That's what I need in order to repair that chair, and I can't even do that. I can't invest in something that means I'm not sitting in a kitchen chair. You know, and I constantly have issues making things like, you know, rent or eating and shit. And some people care. Some people are trying to help me. If you want to be one of those people, then feel free, because I need some help in that regard. Jonathan says, Jeremiah, sup, bro? Hello. Yeah, I thought you did your like last stream and you were leaving for a bit. I saw a thumbnail once and then I had to go. I hope you're okay. Let me grab my article here. COVID. Yeah, here we go. So, we've got this. I was right 2 years ago. I was right between 2 and 1 years ago when I said this. I was right when I talked about the Great Reset, hooking directly into what I said years ago when I wrote this. My best gamer chair was a car seat on an office chair base. That'd be nice. That would be sturdy, you know, certainly. I would love that. I can't afford a spare car seat either. Living off-grid, trying out digital minimalism. So, okay, you might be able to tell these people about mesh networking then. Because mesh networking and short bursting are things that people should know about if they want to say that, like, an EMP might be a problem. Like, those are really easy ways to get involved, especially in preservation of cryptos post-collapse. Like, cryptos are a distributed ledger. It makes them less vulnerable to things like EMPs than fucking, than normal currency. Seat was from a car I sent to a junkyard. Yeah, but I don't have a car. I run everywhere. I'm a hedgehog. So, with that in mind, those are the articles. the primary ones, and then there are a lot of others. You can just click my author link there if you want. And then there's a lot of videos where I've been talking about what's been in the articles. And there's been a lot of content where I've been talking about what I've been saying there. Also interviews on various podcasts talking about my articles. If you want me on your podcast, hit me up. There might be a possibility. I do have some standards, but like, you know, I'm interested in spreading this information, and I've been tirelessly spreading it for years, with very few breaks between at least saying something. So that's what I've been doing. I've been being right and being ignored or mocked or deplatformed. And also being broke. So if y'all want to help with that, you're free to. But like, yeah, that's the general thing. Is that like, the Fed coin is what's really going to cut. They don't need to be El Salvador. That was just a test run to see how people will accept it. But El Salvador isn't the final model. I don't have a gamer chair. It's either sit on the floor or stand up. See, I got this chair because it had less bad reviews than a previous chair that I got, which also broke. Like, I wasn't bouncing on it like somebody said in my server. I was sitting on it normally, and enough normal sitting eventually made the base shatter off. Like, actually, I can show y'all that, because we're talking about chairs right now. This part is what I need, because it's made of an incredibly thin metal, the one I got. So, see how this sort of bolt snubs up here, and it's like all loose and shit? That's because the metal there bent too much. Do I have a P.O. box or mailing address for donations? Not yet, unfortunately. I'd like to get one, for sure. Because the thing is, like, you know, I live in a house share. I live with other people, as you can see in the description. And the actual owner of the house is the only one who can legally get a P.O. box. Which means I would need a private mailbox. And that's like, you know, $100 I don't have. So, I'd like to. So, you know, if I can make that happen, then maybe. You know, but... And I'll definitely do that as soon as possible, because that's going to blow some shit wide open. But either way, the point is that, like, you know, I will as soon as possible. And I'll let you know when I do. Closer to 180 a year. But see, the startup fee here in Spokane for the UPS store, which is where I would be going, that is like... I forget exactly what it was, but it's like a box fee of $20, and then like 30 a month payments up front. That's what they wanted, if I remember correctly. A box fee, a key deposit, and 3 months up front. So it'd be like $100 immediately. I mean, if you can find a cheaper option in Spokane that's cheap, that's where I am right now. I'm open to suggestions, but that's my current situation. So, them's the breaks. So, speaking of breaking, this metal, as you can see, bulges there, because the actual base plate was snapping off the bottom of the chair, creating this bulge and deforming the place where the bolt was, which loosened this part and also provided the ripe grounds for the thin-ass metal to break there. So, that's what that is, and this is what it looks like on the other end. I got a ceramic dish down there. I'm using it for storage right now. And also because this is a tiny room and the only place I have to store things in this house share. And this is what the metal looked like broken off. And you can see, this wasn't supposed to do that. But it doesn't matter because it's a piece of shit company. And, you know, people who say that, you know, oh, it must be your fault, you must have done something to it. The chair is unavailable now, which is why they couldn't just send me a replacement part. The chair is unavailable because it wasn't a good chair. Yeah, the Sonic poster, I got that a while back because people said I needed things in my background in order to seem like human or something, whatever. Those parts occasionally blow up, true story. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, like, I just need to replace those, but, can't. And if people wanted to donate to a mailing address, that'd be great. If I had a mailing address, I would also open up a Substack. I would open up a Substack tomorrow, but I can't do that. I usually rode a bike, right? Nope. Yeah, I haven't had a bike in a while. I run. I really like running, actually. Uh, there's there's something so fucking awesome about and like it's not just because I'm a Sonic fan and because he's one of my archetypical role models. It's there's something so freeing about seeing that part of the trail or the whatever and being like, I'm gonna run to there, and then getting there and being like, I'm gonna go twice as far, and then getting there and being like, I can still do a little, and then just keeping on doing that until you reach an insanely far destination. And like you're wheezing and your lungs hurt and it's like, oh, pain. But then you get, the satisfaction of knowing if I needed to, I could get the fuck out of anywhere. Especially since part of my running is that I go, I do parkour during parts of it. Parts of my running are doing that sort of thing. Because holy shit, is it liberating to know that I can be anywhere I fucking want to. Like, nobody can stop me from doing jack fucking shit that I want to, if I want to. Type of shoes preferably for running. So I wear shoes like this, but these ones are also breaking because I run a lot. So my general vibe for a shoe, I want something with side support that really has like some diagonal force here. Like this isn't just paint. This is stitching, right? So this stitching is running along the whole base here, and the stitching is creating enough reinforcement that it's going to, give me relatively good grip on my foot and it's not slipping around a whole lot. And then the bottom, when it's not a dying shoe, that's literally, I'm poking foam right now, the bottom of the shoe has to have sufficient grip to bite into things. Now, this one, again, it's worn down a lot because I wear shoes like 9 or 10 times as long as they tell you to. But, like, I like things that bite because I want to be able to run successfully on any surface. Mud, snow, ice, asphalt, anything. And reasonably comfortably. That sort of thing. I like a high up ankle that gives me good ankle support because I have big ass stupid arches that know I'm not showing my feet on a stream. Anybody who was into feet and only here to watch me get my feet on, no. The general thing is that I want something that's flexible and that I can really spring forward with. So I literally do this kind of thing in a store. See if it's going to spring pop forward. Now, these shoes are not very good right now because as you can see, this one is starting to come off. And then the other one, fucking, where is it? Oh, that was the one that was coming off. All right. Well, so this one's starting to come off, and then the other one's basically coming off. So yeah, that's the shoe. I want something. I also like Innovates because they come with like really good tread, but that tread has a tendency to wear down on asphalt, and I don't want to change my shoes a lot so that I could wear my mud claws one place and then change to something else and wear a backpack everywhere full of muddy ass shoes. Okay. Do you like running in the winter? Yes. Preferably. Like, I can run much longer and much further and much faster if I'm 40 or below. ideally below. 40 or below is my normal home temperature if I can fucking swing it. 40 is great. Lonnie says Tails. We'll see. So Tails is a great character, but I'm wearing a tail because basically my hair is greasy ass right now, so I'm not gonna have it down. The time I would have spent fucking actually getting a shower in and getting some stuff done, I spent arguing with a housemate who consistently tries to fuck with me in one way or another. Got a local shoe store someone could gift card you and go pick up some kicks. Yeah, well, I mean, if I get a mailing address, sure. And I definitely will. Like, that's on the list. I just need enough supplemental income on top of what I already have. So, other comments here. Let's get you a freaking chair. You got an Amazon wish list? Oh, I mean, I don't have an Amazon wish list. No, I've never really had the use for one. Like, I mean, there's one that was in there that's been on my mind that looks relatively, like, durable, that people have had less issues with. I'll say that. So what is the wish list even do? Because, like, I saw somebody say that the wish list, like, gives your address to people or something. I don't know what the wish list actually does. I mean, I'll create one, I guess. Sure. Yeah, that's something. Maybe I should have thought of that as a way to, like, because maybe somebody, like, believes I'm lying about being clean and sober and thinks that money's going to go to drugs or something. I don't know. So they don't donate. But maybe a wish list would be helpful. I don't know. Yeah. Surprised you don't have any Sonic-like shoes. Well, if I ever hit it real fucking big, I will start to get things like that. Because literally, like, there were some fun fucking shoes from Puma that were part of the movie integration. And I would have gotten those if I had had the money at the time. I'll put it that way. Like, if I had had the money to waste. Because, to be clear, and this is where I have some problems, running as Sonic is much easier than running as a human, for obvious reasons. But one of those reasons is that when you run as like a normal person, you can get stuck in the mud and shit. When Sonic runs, he just runs fast enough to go across literal water, because he gets enough purchase from the slap on the water that he can just sort of like spooge. So he's got less problems. I need some bite into the trails around here. You set up an account and then a wish list. People send you stuff without getting of your. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll do that. I've got an account there because, like, I occasionally use them to get things. And wouldn't you know, I got this chair on Amazon. Don't get anything from Soontrans. They suck asshole. Add whatever you want to the wish list. It's like a bridal. I don't know how those work either. I've never looked into a bridal registry. Minty says, honestly can't wait for the winter to come. Yeah, dude. So I'm not even sweating nervously. I'm just sweating. Like, I have hypermetabolism and hyperhormonality, and my sweat just fucking scrucks. And, like, I actually want to give people a reasonable quality to this content, so I don't have my air conditioner on. Because if I did have my air conditioner on, which is a personal air conditioning unit, it would sound like this. So that's kind of like not acceptable, yo. Although, like, to be clear, it immediately felt better in here, so. Sweating about seeing your feet. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, see, you gotta see the fast. But, like, what's interesting about the feet, and not, again, I'm not showing to anybody who was unironically, and not kidding, wanting to see those. I got these because I work out barefoot a lot, and a lot of that is, like, barefoot running through, like, alleys and, streets and shit around where I am. Um, it's not that bad with the audio. Interesting. Okay, I'll take an informal poll here of the 5 people who YouTube says are watching. Let me know if that was too bad. Also, I fucking... It's weird getting actual muscle mass because I'm looking at my shoulder here and it's fucking... Why is that there? That shouldn't be bumping like that. And it's like, oh, it's your fucking muscle because you do push-ups and shit. Alright, well, I will experiment and see if this is fine. If it is, that would certainly be fucking better. Especially since, like, during recordings, I could just sort of, like, isolate it and fucking spap it out of there. Hardly heard a thing. Also, mic could go up a little. Seemed fine to me. Let me see if I can turn up the mic in any meaningful way. I think it might be close to high. Because one of the problems is that, like, I have a really old mic that I've had for like 7 or 8 years. And that mic, it's fine, but it's also going out. So occasionally you're this like staticky or buzzy or something stupid. And I have to, you know, really test it before each recording and stream in order to make sure that it's not doing that. Yeah, see, but really old in terms of cheap-ass Amazon mic. I got this mic, the whole mic setup, including the phantom power, for like $70, and it's lasted. That's one of the things. I expected this to break on me like fucking fast. Yeah, mic volume is a little dim. Also, okay, I'm gonna do 2 things. We'll just troubleshoot right now because this will educate me about how to produce better shit for you in the future. So let's see. There. I'll move a little bit closer. And now I'm in exactly the right sweet spot for the sound bubble. If that mattered, let me know. And then... Fucking... Gonna... Open sound settings. Here we go. Yeah, this should be it. And then... Input. Microphone. Oh, dude, it's at 76%. No wonder it's ass. All right, I'm going to bump it up to 85. 85, 85. Let me know if that works. I use earbuds. Sound is good. Ooh, even better. And then Troll says thumbs up. Yeah, all right. So let me know if 85 is better as well. All right, cool. Well, I will remember that, and I'll just keep it on 85 as a universal norm, because I still don't want it to clip. And it, like, okay. Brace for this, it's gonna clip. This is it at 100, so it's like not good to have it at 100, because then this is my normal speaking voice. This is what I'd be using with you in person if I was actually there, like Rasin says. But like ultimately, fucking, if I get passionate and angry about something and I start to yell like this, it's gonna be very unbearable for certain people, especially if I start to. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah. So I'm gonna turn it back down to 85. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, so 85 it is. But yeah, so that's how that is. This is an oat milk bottle from the freezer. Besides Sonic, what are some of my other favorite gaming franchises? Silent Hill. It's fucking great. A lot of them anyway. Some of them not so much. Fucking Spyro. I liked Blinks 1. Anything from Oddworld. Splinter Cell. Pretty much all of them. I haven't played Blacklist though, so I can't vouch for that. Age of Wonder. Fallout is good. It's been a bit since I played it, but yeah, it's good. Elder Scrolls can be good. Portal 1 and 2, obviously, because who fucking wouldn't? Traitors, hang 'em. I've never played Uncharted. Like, any of them. They seemed fine, but whenever faced with the choice between Uncharted and Tomb Raider, I always picked Tomb Raider. Especially the new ones, which are, like, fucking intense and really awesome. So, best Saturday night in a while. Thanks all. Oh, are you headed out? If so, be well. And then, yeah, like, Duke Nukem. Fuck yeah. Deus Ex. Fucking... Because you said franchise, so I'm really trying to pull for franchises here. Yeah. Yeah, like, those will give you an idea. Also, keep in mind, I came up on Xbox. Like, original Xbox. That was my first big box console. And my first game ever was Tetris. So I guess you could say also, yeah, Tetris franchise, if you wanted to. Dragon Quest. Really fucking good RPG series, especially Dragon Warrior. Dragon Warrior 3 was my first one. And the fact that it, like, had the gravity of when your characters die, they fucking die. And in order to heal them, you have to drag them behind you in a line of coffins instead of the line in your party. Excellent. The whole game was fucking excellent. Quake, yes. Metal Gear, just getting into that. But yes. Half-Life, haven't played them. That's probably heresy, but yeah, no, I haven't played it. I need to play it because it's part of the same universe as Portal, but I haven't played them because anytime the opportunity to buy them came up, I was buying something else. Thief, that's a great franchise. Dishonored. I shouldn't really say that though. I've only played the first one, so let's retcon that. There's a lot of them. I don't really do favorites though. Like, I like things a lot about a lot of those, and there are a lot more that I'm missing right now that I haven't listed yet. So I can't really say favorite, but they're very good, and I spent a lot of time playing them. If that answers your question. Yeah, them thar. And it is getting to be about 8 minutes till the end of the hour. So I am going to wrap it up, but if there are any last minute subjects, feel free. But yeah, like that. This was a longer stream than normal, but it could be the normal length of stream, especially if somehow, by some miracle, I'm reliably kept in a house. And maybe even given enough sort of leg up that I can get into a better situation. Like, ultimately, this needs to start trending upward or it's not going to work. But that's, like, this was great. If it could be this way every time, that would be optimal. Troll says, I like things in the moment. Sometimes RPG racing. Oh! Fucking... I cannot fucking believe I forgot the entire racing genre, basically. Need for Speed, Burnout, Street Racing Syndicate, fucking... I'm specifically thinking franchises, so it has to have at least one sequel. There were a lot of fucking good examples. Jonathan says, have a good one, bro. Keep us updated on mailing. Yeah, well, as soon as I've got not only rent and food, but like also that, enough to get a mailing box, a lot's going to be easier. Because the fact that I haven't had a mailing address this whole time has prevented me from doing things like a Substack, because I'll be damned if I'm going to dox myself for tax purposes. I already tell people enough by telling them the fact that I live in Spokane. So, like, if I can get enough resources, then yeah, that'll be one of the first things I open. Minty says, I tried playing... either way, though, be well. For real. Minty says, I tried playing JRPGs, but couldn't... Yeah, well, Dragon Warrior was for the Game Boy, and I wouldn't really even qualify it as that. It was, like, super minimalist designs. but also extremely rich. Like, I was staring at a fucking Game Boy and I felt like I was walking through places. And they give you all these like realistic enough sounds. It really just it was such a well developed series. Like, especially the Dragon Warrior arc. You know. And I don't really like it anymore, but like I played the shit out of Pokemon Red, Yellow, Blue, and Crystal. Oh, and Silver and Gold. Like everything up to that range. But I don't really like it anymore. You know? I don't like the fact that they're literally working with the CIA. And if anyone in chat tells me, oh, I'm so shocked that you would say that, that sounds insane, you're fucking on meth, I will say, my teeth are way too good to be on meth. And look into the relationship between Niantic, the parent company of Pokemon, and In-Q-Tel, the CIA venture capital firm from whom they got funded. It's a CIA thing. Pokemon Go is the CIA. Hey, give us access to all your sensor data and let us watch you walk around from any place we say to any other place we say, while also saying that any data that gets transmitted on this app is data that will go to the company and will be owned by the company to be used by the company how we want. This isn't a surveillance app, we promise. Pikachu is a CIA asset. Yeah, and also because Nintendo has, like, since my childhood, turned into one of the worst examples of IP hawking. And also one of the worst sort of treaters of fans. And also, on top of all of that, they make shovelware and shovel hardware so that you keep buying their cheap plastic fucking bullshit so that you can keep playing their repetitive bullshit. Like, holy shit. Yeah, I need to see the next generation of Pokemon, which are just shiny versions of the old ones. That'll improve my experience collecting the same shit over, but this time it has a little bit off on the colors. Gag me with a butcher knife. I just, like, we need Sega to make a massive comeback. I am pulling for Frontiers, hardcore. Frontiers. We're getting Prime, which is going to be a Netflix show. We're getting a new Sonic movie. We're getting so fucking much. And we need that in integration with a shit ton of other things. That's what we need. Because Sega needs to finally, like, do what Nintendo don't and completely take them down. That's my worst examples of how they treat fans is how they always tried to shut down Smash tourneys and taking Yeah. Yeah. Because they fucking suck. Fuck Nintendo. Holy shit. Fuck Nintendo. And fuck Nintendo fanboys who are unreceptive to criticism. Holy goddamn. I hate them. Make IPX network gaming. Hey. Well, or Nintendo is a massive state capitalist institution, and they do exactly what Trump did. Like, Trump was an IP hawk inherently. That's the whole point of hiring and firing people on that reality show, is that he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna own part of your shit. That's the gimmick. Anyway, I could talk about any of these subjects forever. So instead of doing that, I'm going to get dinner and play some D&D with some friends. And also tomorrow, keep an eye out on Insanity is Free for 3 articles. Because I'm going to try to get, well, let's just say 2 to be safe. And the video tomorrow. Because I'm going to try to get an article for Liberty Sentries and an article for the Freedom Post out. And I'm also going to try to get a video out in the same day. But the video is going to take a little bit of priority. So either way, I'm going to try for those things. Because I'm going for a run on Monday. And that's going to eat up so much of my day. Because I want, the goal is to make 20 miles. I hope I can do it finally. So anyway, Be well, all. Like, share, and subscribe. Actually financially support if you choose. Tag people, let them know where the based content is, and that there's a bearded and haired alternative to Vouch, who doesn't constantly talk about horsecock and, like, a vow for the legalization of child porn, because we all use computers, man, and those are just as bad. Yeah. Anyway, be well, everyone, and thanks for showing up. Smash the fucking state.